The day Thomas walked out, it didn't even rain. I remember that because I kept waiting for the sky to match my mood, but it stayed bright and cruelly sunny. He didn't shout, didn't throw anything. Just stood in the doorway with that stupid duffel bag and said, "I can't do this anymore." I stood there barefoot on the kitchen tiles, holding a bottle in one hand and our baby in the other, and I couldn't even respond. My two other kids were in the living room watching cartoons, unaware their father was about to disappear from their lives. "I need time to figure things out," he said. "I'm starting everywhere but mine." "I'll send money," but he didn't send money. He sent silence. The first week was survival. I slept in 20-minute intervals between feeding the baby, checking on my toddlers, and trying not to cry too loud at night. I called my sister. She offered sympathy, not solutions. I called his number. It rang and rang. Bills piled up like mountains. The fridge slowly emptied. I pawned my engagement ring to buy diapers. I cleaned houses during the day, delivered groceries at night. I barely had time to breathe, let alone grieve, and yet, somehow, I made it through. At night, after the kids were asleep, I'd write letters to Thomas, not to send, just to survive. "I hope your new life is worth what you left behind. I hope you never know what it's like to see your child cry for someone who wouldn't even call. I hope one day you'll see how strong I became because you left." Those letters became therapy, a way to turn pain into purpose. I taped them to the back of my closet door, my little shrine of survival. 6 months in, I didn't recognize myself. Not just the weight loss or the tired eyes, but the fire. I had stopped begging, stopped waiting. I'd enrolled in night school for accounting, hired a teenager to babysit in the evenings, and found a second-hand laptop for $80. Every step I took felt like defiance. He thought he left me broken, but I was rebuilding stronger, smarter, fiercer. And I hadn't even started the revenge part yet. It was a Tuesday when I got the shut-off notice for the electricity. The baby had a fever, my middle child had spilled cereal all over the floor, and my oldest had drawn a frown on the wall in permanent marker. I sat on the edge of the tub and laughed. Not the happy kind, the kind that cracks you open. But I didn't break. I went to the utility company the next morning, baby on my hip and 2 kids in tow. I waited in line for 2 hours. When it was my turn, I asked if there was a payment plan. The woman behind the glass looked tired, but she looked at my kids and said, "Let me see what I can do." That day, I made a promise to myself. No one else gets to decide if we sink or float. Every small win mattered. Passing a quiz in night school. Getting a $5 tip from a grocery delivery. Seeing all 3 kids asleep at once. I started tracking expenses in a spreadsheet. Made a budget, declined birthday invites, cut coupons like a pro. One evening, my professor pulled me aside and said, "You've got potential. You're one of the sharpest minds in the class." That night, I cried, not because I was sad, but because someone finally saw me again. Not as a mother, not as someone abandoned, just me. 8 months after he left, I got a text, "Thomas, hey, just checking in. Hope the kids are good." I stared at the screen for 10 minutes. Then I locked my phone and went back to folding laundry. He didn't deserve a response. "Where's Daddy?" my son asked one night while brushing his teeth. I knelt beside him. "Daddy's figuring out his life. But I'm always here. We're figuring out ours together." He nodded like he understood. Maybe he did. Kids feel more than they can say. After he went to bed, I opened the closet and read my letters. Each one felt like a stepping stone, proof I'd made it this far. Alone, yes, but not broken. My body began to change not because I tried to lose weight, but because I was always moving, cleaning, studying, hustling my mind. Sharper than ever, people started noticing. A mom at school pickup said, "You look different lately, stronger." I smiled. I wasn't waiting anymore for apologies, for support, or for someone to fix my life. I was building it from the ground up, and soon Thomas would realize what he threw away. A year passed, 12 full moons of scraped knees, late-night fevers, overdue bills, and exhausted dreams. But also tiny triumphs. I graduated top of my night class. I got a real job at an accounting firm entry level, but with benefits, real benefits. Health insurance, a retirement plan, and coworkers who treated me like a human being, not a sob story. I bought my first used car in cash, a 2010 Honda Civic with peeling paint but reliable brakes. That was the day I stopped taking the bus. My kids called it the freedom car. I opened a savings account. I decorated our small apartment with string lights, discount store paintings, and hope. We were still broke, but we were thriving. In our community, people talk. I used to hear whispers about me. Poor thing, they'd say 3 kids and no husband. Now people said, she's unstoppable. Moms at school asked for budgeting tips. My old babysitter asked if I'd help her build a resume. Even my ex's sister reached out to apologize for not stepping in when he left. You didn't have to, I told her. He made his choices, I made mine. And mine were paying off. It happened on a Friday. I was picking the kids up from school, and there he was, leaning against my car. Thomas, he looked thinner, grayer, like life hadn't gone the way he'd hoped. Hey, he said, trying to smile, you look different. I didn't return the compliment. He tried small talk, asked about the kids, asked if I still lived in the same place. I didn't answer much. Then came the pitch. I've been going through some things, he said. Thought maybe I could crash at your place for a while. For the kids, you know. I stared at him. Then I laughed, not the kind that cracks you. The kind that confirms you've healed. I told him no. I told him the kids were fine, happy, loved. I told him we had everything we needed and that included boundaries. He looked shocked, hurt even, but he didn't argue. As he walked away, my oldest came running out of school and threw his arms around me. Mom, guess what? I got it on my spelling test. I knelt down, hugged him tight, and whispered, "You're my favorite success story." I looked up. Thomas was gone, and I felt nothing but peace. The texts started coming more frequently. Thomas, can we talk? Thomas, I'm sorry, Thomas. I miss the kids. I miss you. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. He had become a ghost knocking on the door of a home that no longer remembered him. I talked to a therapist, not about taking him back, about closure. Forgiveness, she said, isn't about letting someone return. It's about releasing the weight of what they did to you. So I forgave him. In my own heart, quietly, but I never let him in again. My kids thrived. My middle one learned to ride a bike. The baby said her first full sentence. My oldest won an art contest. Every milestone was a reminder we were more than fine. I got a promotion. I started a blog about single motherhood. Women messaged me from around the country. You gave me hope. Some even called me brave. But I wasn't brave. I was just tired of being broken. One night, I opened the closet and took down all the letters I had taped up, the ones I'd written to Thomas when the pain was fresh. I read them one last time. Then I lit a candle and watched each one burn. The smoke curled like freedom. He showed up one last time at the kids' school play. He sat in the back, watched silently, then tried to talk afterward. I just want to be part of their lives, he said. I nodded. You can apply for supervised visitation. Through the court, he blinked. You'd really do that? I'd really protect my kids, I replied. He never followed through, and we never saw him again. Life didn't become perfect, but it became ours. I tucked my kids in every night knowing they were safe, loved, and growing up with someone who showed up, someone who never walked away me. It's funny how people look at me now and say, "You're so strong," but strength isn't born, it's built. Piece by piece, from the moments that tried to break you. It was built in the sleepless nights, in the grocery aisles when I had to put items back because I didn't have enough, in the classroom where I kept my eyes open despite exhaustion. It was built every time I chose to stay instead of run, to rise instead of crumble, to keep going even when no one clapped. And it was built not because I had no fear, but because I had 3 pairs of eyes watching me become something better than what was left behind. Today, my daughter is 10 and dreams of being a writer. My son builds Lego castles and says, "I'm making a house where no one leaves." The baby, she's not a baby anymore. She is a bold little firecracker who insists on brushing her own hair and choosing her own socks. We still live in our small apartment, still use coupons, still stretch spaghetti over to nights. But we laugh more than we cry, dance more than we drag. And every night, we're grateful. Sometimes, I wonder if Thomas watches from afar if he regrets. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. It doesn't matter. He missed the best part, he missed the comeback. And I'll never need him to validate the woman I've become. Because I did that, one painful, powerful, glorious day at a time.